Good morning. My name is Kenny Leandri, Manager of Communications and Media Relations for Yankee Stadium Events. On behalf of the entire Yankees organization and the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, welcome to New York City and welcome to Yankee Stadium. As you know, we are here to introduce the two participants in the 2017 New Era Pinstripe Bowl. The Boston College Eagles of the ACC Conference and the University of Iowa Hawkeyes of the Big Ten Conference. Kickoff is scheduled for 5:15 p.m. on Wednesday, December 27th. And to speak a little bit more about this game, I would like to introduce the members of our dais this morning, beginning on my far right. The Henry B. and Patricia B. Tippie Athletics Director Chair for the University of Iowa, Gary Barta. The head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz. The Senior Associate Athletic Director for Administration of Boston College, Vaughn Williams. The head coach of the Boston College Eagles, Steve Adazio. Shifting over now to my immediate left, the President of the New York Yankees, Randy Levine. The Chief Operating Officer of the New York Yankees, Lonn Trost. The Executive Director of the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, Mark Holtzman. And the Vice President of Special Projects for New Era, the Bowl Games title sponsor, Bill Adams. Gentlemen, thank you for being here this morning. And with that, I would like to reintroduce and bring up to the podium the President of the New York Yankees, Randy Levine. Randy?
Thanks, Ken. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Happy holidays and welcome to Yankee Stadium. On behalf of the entire Steinbrenner family and the New York Yankees, the Pinstripe Bowl, we were so honored and delighted to have you here and to have representatives from two incredible universities who are going to participate in this year's Pinstripe Bowl. We have a great partnership with two of the elite Power 5 conferences in the country, the Big Ten and the Atlantic Coast Conference. And we've had phenomenal games here, phenomenal. Penn State's been here. Notre Dame has been here. Syracuse has been here. Last year we had a phenomenal game between Northwestern and Pitt. And each and every game of the Pinstripe Bowl has been really exciting. Most of them have gone down to the last minute or two. And it has become really one of the most exciting and fastly becoming one of the great bowl games because it can offer things that very few can. The most important thing is this is in New York City. And as I've said for many, many years, New York City in the holidays is the most special place in the world. Whether you're at Rockefeller Center and you're seeing the Christmas tree or the windows on Fifth Avenue or all throughout the city, it's just a magical, magical place and a magical, magical time. You know, as I always tell people, this is the place where they make movies about during Christmas time, write songs about during Christmas time, produce shows about during Christmas time, and it's a great, exciting place to be. New York City, as Pope John said, is the capital of the world, and that's the backdrop we have. Similarly, there's nothing like Yankee Stadium. And the history of Yankee Stadium, with all through the events, whether you're performers, whether you're athletes, baseball, of course, which is our prime tenant here, the great New York Yankees, or soccer, New York City Football Club, or the great history of college football that the old and new stadium has had. There's just something special about playing in Yankee Stadium. And we acknowledge that, and I just want to assure all the universities that are here, Iowa and Boston College. Boston College has been here already, so they know the experience, that this organization will do and does everything it can to make sure that the student athletes, which is the most important aspect of this, have the best time and really come away with an experience in New York City and at Yankee Stadium. Please let both the university presidents know how really honored we are to have you guys here. This is, the Battle of the Birds. You know, I've been looking in, doing some research. Herky the Hawkeye versus Baldwin the Eagle. I think, you know, we're going to have a real hard matchup here. It's going to be very, very interesting. You know, to have Iowa here is really, really exciting. You know, Iowa is a brand all throughout the country, you know, marquee name in the Big Ten. And they haven't been east in many, many, many years. They have a lot of alumni who live in this corridor. I got calls from about 5 or 6 people yesterday. Some I didn't even know went to Iowa. So excited to be here. And let me just take a minute to tell all the people in Iowa, you know, sometimes we follow social media, and, you know, here at the Yankees, you know, we never get any criticism. Everything is always, you know, perfect. So for all those people in Iowa, please listen to me. This will be a great place for you to come visit. It's affordable. During the holidays, it's magnificent. We love you. We want you to come and enjoy it. And this will be a vacation, an experience, and a football game that you really won't regret. As to the folks at Boston College, obviously, Boston College has an enormous alumni here, and even the folks at Boston who we're used to dealing with. And, you know, even for these few weeks, you know, we like Red Sox fans, you know, to come down during this event. It's a great university. 2 years ago, our experience with them was just sensational, and we encourage everyone, you know, to come down. You know, it's an East Coast school. It's a great school. Everybody in New York has a connection, friends or family who went to Boston College. So it's really exciting for you to come back. So again, I just want to welcome everybody. This is going to be a great game. On behalf of the Steinbrenner family, we're here to do and the Yankees to do whatever is needed. So thank you all for being here. I wish you all great holidays. This is going to be a great event. It's a really classic matchup, a classic Big Ten team and a classic ACC team who's from the East Coast. So let the Battle of the Birds start. Let's get it on. Thank you. And I guess it's my turn. Either it's Kenny or me, and it's my pleasure to introduce my partner and colleague, the Chief Operating Officer of the Yankees, Lonn Trost.
Thanks, Well, I think I have to start my speech a little differently because I originally planned to do this morning, but it seems like we're afternoon. So good afternoon, Coaches French and Adazio, Athletic Director Barter from the University of Iowa, and Associate Athletic Director Williams from Boston College. And by the way, if today's temperatures mirror what we're having on the 27th, I think it'll be a Christmas gift for both the University of Iowa and for the Boston College. Both clubs with identical 7-5 records when they face off in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. And it's befallen to me, before I make some brief comments, I must acknowledge the very professional staff here at Yankee Stadium that toils day after day, without whom the New Era Pinstripe Bowl could not take place. Emily Hamill, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl Director. Emily. Brian Smith, Senior VP of Community Affairs. Michael Tusiani, Senior Vice President of Partnerships. Scott Krug, Senior Chief Financial Officer and Senior Vice President of Financial Operations. Allison Stewart, Director of Financial Operations. Irfan Karimka, Director of Ticket Operations. Doug B.R., the Senior Vice President of Stadium Operations. Pete Ballara, our Stadium Superintendent, and the entire grounds crew. And of course, John Mosley, who I generally acknowledge last because I'm never certain if he's going to be here, but he does happen to be here. I would also like to recognize Bob Mulcahy from the New Era Pinstripe Bowl Pinstripe Committee, and Dr. Harvey Schiller, who is sitting to Mr. Mulcahy's left, my right. And from New Era, Ryan D'Annunzio and Jennifer Sarzinski, and from Balfour, Bonnie Shapiro. I believe we also have the pleasure, and this one's difficult for me, of having an attendance from the PSAL Executive Director Donald Douglas and the football coordinator Tyrone Parker. And this is the tough part. And from Erasmus Hall in Brooklyn, Dr. Eric Blake and Evan Goldwyn. And from Curtis High School in Staten Island, Eric Ritzer and Pete Devlin. Having gone to Lincoln and Lafayette in Brooklyn, talking about Erasmus is really a problem. While Yankee stadiums have hosted college football games since 1923, this year marks the 8th New Era Pinstripe Bowl and welcomes back Boston College from the ACC Conference and the Iowa Hawkeyes from the Big Ten Conference. But before I proceed with my general remarks, I must take time to recognize Iowa's tribute and wave to the children in the Stead Family Children's Hospital. As many of you may know or may not know, at the end of the first quarter of every Iowa home game, the Iowa players and their opponents stand and wave to the children in the hospital on the 12th floor of the Stead Hospital, which was built. And it's a wonderful gesture by the student athletes and the coaches. And I understand, Coach Frentz, your emotions when discussing the hospital, as my son has Tourette syndrome, and my grandson has epilepsy. I spent many hours at CHOP, the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. So, again, wonderful gesture. While Iowa football was inaugurated in 1889, its club football commenced in 1872. And Coach Frentz is Iowa's 27th head football coach, and will, with one more victory, tie famed Iowa coach Hayden Fry with the most all-time victories. 2 great coaches, 2 great records, and multiple bowl games. But in fairness, I must pay homage to the coaches of Iowa's 1889, 1890, 1891, and 1895 football teams. 15 games, 6 wins, and 9 losses. And Coach Frentz, I told you I had a question for you. Could you name the football coaches of those years?
You got me stumped. Totally.
Iowa did not have a football coach. So the question is, do we need football coaches?
I've heard that question a lot.
When discussing Iowa football players, you cannot ignore Emlyn Tunnell, the first African-American to be inducted in the National Football Hall of Fame. And, of course, Paul Krause and Andre Tippett, both of whom are Hall of Famers. The last time Boston College was being considered for selection to play in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, I was besieged by calls and emails from numerous Boston College alumni. However, this year, I was really not expecting calls from John Mara. It seemed he had to focus on other things this week. But he called anyway, and he supported the selection. And I was able to call him prior to the game Sunday and tell him that his wish came through. Iowa's defense, with 19 interceptions, 11 forced fumbles, must prevail against Boston College freshman running back A.J. Dillon, the ACC's Offensive Rookie of the Year, who was selected to the 2017 ACC team, having scored 13 touchdowns and having rushed for 1,432 yards. And what a histories for these 2 great universities. Iowa with 31 bowl appearances, 311 appearances in the AP poll, 14 inductees into the College Football Hall of Fame, 282 players drafted into professional football. And Boston College with 25 bowl appearances, 6 inductees into the College Football Hall of Fame, and one very special moment, or many special moments, one in particular. Who could forget an obscure Boston College quarterback who happened to play in the National Football League, the Canadian Football League, the United States Football League, and happened to win the Heisman Trophy, yet is really known for a November 23rd, 1984 pass to Gerard Fellin. With 6 seconds left in the game, Flutie took the ball on Miami's 48-yard line, scrambled back to Boston College's 35-yard line, and with no time on the clock, threw what is known as the Hail Mary to Fellin, and Boston College beat Miami 47-45. we have a Big Ten ACC football game which promises excitement that will mirror all our prior Pinstripe Bowl games. Two great universities and two great teams. Randy, the rest is yours.
Thanks, Len. Okay, it's now my honor to introduce the reason we're all here. First, I'd like to call the athletic director of the University of Iowa, Gary Barta. Come on up.
Thanks, appreciate it. I was just thinking about that great moment of Doug Flutie's. Somebody asked me, when they heard Boston College was our opponent, they jokingly said, "Is Doug Flutie going to be playing?" I said, "I hope so. I've seen him in a soda commercial. I don't think he could stand up to our defense anymore." That's what makes college sports and college football so much fun. And on behalf of our president, Bruce Harold, who will be here for the game, myself and our staff, some of whom are here today, on behalf of Coach Ferentz and his team, and we have incredible fans, and we brought a couple of them today. So on behalf of all of us, Randy and Mark and the Steinbrenner family and the entire Yankee organization, we're thrilled to be here and appreciate the opportunity. The Big Ten forged a partnership with the Yankees several years ago, and it was a great partnership, has been and continues to be a great partnership. We have great universities in the Big Ten, hundreds of thousands of Big Ten alums living in this corridor, in this area, including the University of Iowa. We have many, many alumni who live here. And same, Randy, anecdotally, I've had on the airplane ride here, I had several of them coming up to me on the airplane saying, "We're so excited. We can't wait to experience," our student athletes get to experience playing football in one of the iconic sports venues in the world. And our student athletes and coaches and our fans come to a city during the Christmas holiday that is second to none. So I'm really proud of our student athletes and their accomplishments. We have a slogan: win, graduate, and do it right. And our student athletes live by that. They win, they graduate, and they do things the right way. And that's what the Yankees, the brand of the Yankees represents. And we couldn't be more thrilled to be invited to this game. And finally, to our friends and colleagues at Boston College, there's something special about bowls. Bowls, at the end of the year, you have this opportunity to play one more game if you take care of business, and we're looking forward to having that opportunity against Boston College. So again, congratulations to you, Coach, and to your organization, and we can't wait to get here and celebrate and try to win a football game. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Coach, will you come on up?
First of all, I just want to say what an honor it was for us to be selected on Sunday to the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. I think everybody in our program was really excited to get the news. It's a unique experience, certainly. And Randy, Mark, and Lonn, appreciate it. Lonn, your research is really impressive. Howard Jones from 1920 I got, but 1800s, I didn't go back that far. So, but it's just unbelievable. And we knew last week this was a possibility of us coming here. So we had reached out, our logistics people reached out to a couple of different schools that have participated from our conference, and they couldn't say enough about the experience that they had here. So the Yankee organization supported this whole thing, New Era. Just it's going to be a great experience. And then beyond that, to have an opportunity to come to New York, I think is really going to be special for our players. I can just tell you this, last time I think I remember being out here in a collegiate experience was 1987, back in the days of the Kickoff Classic in the old Giant Stadium. And I just remember talking to our players and some of our student managers about, what would they think of the area. And you got to consider most of the kids on our team are from the Midwest. So this is a totally different thing for them. To be here over the holidays is absolutely outstanding. And we're just really, I'm really excited for our players. Just I don't think they have any concept right now what they're about to encounter when they have a chance to come here. So that's really neat. And then on that theme as well, I think back, Lonn mentioned some of our players, Andre Tippett, some of the guys that played here, Lou King, my first year as an assistant in 1981, some great players from this part of the country. Andre Tippett, did go into the NFL Hall of Fame fairly recently. He's our last Iowa Hawkeye to go in. Played over at Barrington High School for a legendary coach, Frank Verducci, who coincidentally called me about 5 years ago to recommend a running back named Akram Wadley from Weequahic High School. So Akram is our marquee player from this area. I know he's really excited. I talked to him yesterday. He's had about 120 ticket requests, so he's working on that right now. Fortunately, he'll be able to get that set. So we're very excited about coming here, and also just the opportunity to play in a bowl game. Just closing and saying it really is special. It's you think about the window that collegiate players have. Typically, it's 4 to 5 years. It's a very, very short span. It means hopefully they're going to be away for the holidays. That's a good thing. And to have an opportunity to play in a game like this is really special. To be together for another month is a special thing for us. And to have an opportunity to play a team like Boston College, who's got such a great tradition, and Steve and his staff have done a tremendous job with their football team. They finished on such a strong positive note, so we know we've got a great challenge on our hands on that front. So it's all good, and we're looking forward to being out here, and we will see you here in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. We're really excited. Thank you, Gary. I'll have you guys. It's now my pleasure. The athletic director of Boston College I'll let the next speaker describe it, but he had much more important things to do, which we all understand, and you will in a second. Can't be here today, so we have Vaughn Williams from Boston College. Come on up, Vaughn.
Next man up. Next man up. That's what we do at BC. Good afternoon, everybody. Obviously, on behalf of Father Leahy, President of Boston College, Martin Jarman, our athletic director at Boston College, and BC Nation, we are excited and excited to play in a new era Pinstripe Bowl. So we want to thank everybody, Yankee organization, Mark, Bill, everybody for giving us the invitation to play against a great opponent of Iowa. We're excited. We have many, many alums, over 25,000 alums in New York City area, over 100,000 in the 4-hour radius. And so we're excited. The buzz is going on up in Boston and in this area. And even a BC alum, John Mara, we want to thank him for his support of the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. So we're excited to get to New York and play in a bowl that we've been at before. Obviously, this bowl does it right. They do it well. You're not going to find anybody. They do it first class, and everything that they do, the hospitality and being in New York City, one of the greatest cities in the world. Over the holidays, you can't match that. You cannot match that. So we're hoping that all our alums, we're encouraging them. There's been a lot of support so far. We're encouraging them to pack Yankee Stadium on the 27th of December. And so what you have is a great city in a great venue against a great opponent. And we have the most respect, so congratulations, and we're looking forward to playing you as well. And lastly, but not least, this football team, a little bit about our football team. These Eagles have done a great job of going through adversity. I've seen it, I've watched it, and taken opportunities. We've done some great things to come together. And it's been a marvelous thing to watch their attitudes and how they persevere through this season and how we have finished strong. And I think that goes to lastly the leadership. We have some great coaches. Obviously, Steve Adazio has done an unbelievable job this year. It's been a marvel to watch this team stay together with everything that has happened and to really come together and really compete at that high level, especially at the end of the year. So we're lucky to have them. And we're excited that we get to compete one more time in December, and that's December 27th. With that, I think I'll introduce Coach Adazio.
Thanks, Mark. Welcome. Thank you, everybody. I, too, want to thank everybody here. We're very, very excited to play in this bowl game. We've been here before, and it was one of the great experiences that I've had as a football coach. But to thank Randy and Lonn and Mark, I mean, these guys are special, and they're awesome to deal with. They have a lot of great pride and obviously the Yankees and New York and everything that's great in college football. And it makes it special and fun. We've kind of forged a friendship, and I love it. Just absolutely love it. And our team is thrilled to be here. When we beat Syracuse, in our last game at Syracuse in that locker room, our kids were all about, we're going to the Pinstripe Bowl. Now, they didn't know they were going to the Pinstripe Bowl, but that's where they wanted to go. And that's really based off of a few things. Number one, the great experience we had here the last time we were here. You know, we have over 25 players from this area. And, you know, this is home. And to have a chance to be in New York City with their families at the holidays is special. A lot of our guys also remember a couple of years ago when we were on that field, it was a special night. The energy and the atmosphere in this stadium is incredible, okay? The game was one of the hottest tickets in the bowl season that year. It was electric atmosphere. It was sold out, and it was just incredible to be in this venue. And our players remember that. It was impactful to them. And you want your kids to have a great experience. They had a great experience in New York. They had a great experience in this stadium. And, of course, we were a part of one of the most exciting games, certainly maybe in this bowl history, but certainly that year. Didn't work out in our favor, so we got a little extra motivation because it was tough walking off that field a couple of years ago, and it was a hard deal. But we were a part of a very exciting game. That's how the bowl should be. We know what a great opponent Iowa is. You know, I've been a great admirer of Coach Ferentz coming up in the ranks. He's the model for how to do things right, class and dignity, and great football coach, and had this program be a premier program for all of these years. And obviously the Big Ten is an unbelievable conference. So the respect that we have for the Big Ten and for Iowa and for Coach and for his staff is incredible. And so we're honored to be able to be in this game with them. And I think this game has a chance to pit two teams that I think pride themselves on being tough and physical and the ability to run the football. And I just have this vision in my mind, you know, like I could see on the 27th, you'll see your breath coming out, and these two teams will clash on that field. And what I think college football brings out the best in it. It'll be a physical, tough, hard-fought contest. And it's great for Northeast football. And so this is a great stage to me for that, and we're honored to be here and to be a part of it, to represent it with Iowa, and being a Northeast guy myself, you know, I got a lot of pride in that, and there's something special about it. And playing outside Yankee Stadium, I mean, I can't sure it can get better than that, and so I can't wait. Care what the weather is, it's irrelevant, and I hope it's cold and nasty. Maybe these guys might not want that. Of course, last time we were here, it was about 60 degrees or something like that. I felt like it was better than being down in Orlando. So you don't want to hear any more from me. We're proud to be here. We're grateful to be here. Very, very grateful. And we look forward to doing the very best we can to represent our football team, our university, and the Yankees and New Era in a very first-class fashion. And we'll put a lot of time and effort in here to have a great game. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. I was just remarking, you know, I was going to tell Coach Ferentz to ask Coach Adazio, you know, with some food recommendations, but he looks so sensational, you know, I don't want to do it. You look fantastic. I really do. You know, we're all here because George Steinbrenner, the boss, when we built this venue, he loved college football. It was his passion, and he insisted that when we build this building, it accommodate college football. And that's also how we became partners with New Era. The boss and the Koch family go back forever. They've been an integral partner with the Yankees and Major League Baseball, and the company has just exploded for years. And when we decided to put this proposal for a bowl game together, we made one call, and that was to New Era, and they became our partner, and it's just been a marriage made in heaven. And Bill Adams, who I'm going to bring up here, has been a incredible supporter of this bowl game. Chris Koch and the entire Koch family and everyone in New Era, you cannot have a better partner. So, Bill, thank you for all your help, participation, and come on up here.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Well, I have to admit, this has turned out to be one of the highlights of my year. There's no question about it. The build that has occurred here with the New Era Pinstripe Bowl since 2010 has been nothing short of amazing. And certainly I want to, sometimes we don't give the kudos to Kenny and his staff as far as what they do. It seems like every year this thing, he's like a conductor. It just runs so smoothly, everything. So congratulations to you, Kenny, and your staff. But first of all, I'm lucky enough to represent New Era here, and I want to take a second here just to thank all those special people, particularly from the Yankees, that have really made a difference in us putting this bowl game together. Of course, Randy, as you've heard, has been so instrumental in putting this really an idea that just started to bubble up from 2010. And of course, the Steinbrenner family, you can't say enough about that. And obviously, you know, they've always been tremendous football supporters. And of course, Lonn, our resident historian, I sort of look forward to every speech from Lonn, because I know there's going to be several little pieces of trivia that I could never even find anywhere, no matter how quick I locate it. So that's terrific. Michael Tusiani, who's in the back, who really is our key cog with the Yankees, is always there for us. And we sort of look at Michael Tusiani and the Yankees. When we talk about partnerships, we talk about this being the gold standard. This is what we measure everybody else up against. You know, this is the group that does it better than anybody. And I think because of that, as I said, that's a compliment to certainly the people on the dais, the people out there, and it's just been terrific. And certainly Mark and Emily and John and their very, very capable staff. I don't know how they work the magic every year, but it always seems like it comes together. I know there's a lot of high blood pressure, you know, going into, once again, the last few weekends, but it always seems like so. Mark still hasn't told me a secret, what goes on behind the curtain, but he always seems to pull it off, and obviously the representation here is nothing but the best again, which is just terrific. So really, in light of that, as I said, they have just been tremendous partners. Lonn touched on already, but I want to just highlight again two of the key people for us that have come down from Buffalo, our corporate headquarters up there. Jen Skarzinski, if you just stand for a second, Jen, you know, she heads up our category for college and core sports. And Ryan, right next to D'Annunzio, you know, heads up football and soccer. And just, Ryan, if you would stand, I know you get a little, once again, he's a little shy. But as I said, and of course our friends from CAA, right next to them, once again, do a great job, you know, for us there. And a quick shout out, most of you are probably saying, you know, a voice that you've known me here, Gary Borkowski, who's back up there covering a few things back at corporate headquarters for us. But quick shout out to him. He does a great job for us. So, you know, because of this, and I think it's important, obviously, because I get a chance to witness everything that's coming together. And as you certainly heard Coach Adazio talk about, you know, it's something really special here. And I think the group that I've just talked about, the way that they work so collaboratively together is really what brings this thing all together. And I think, you know, even the group that works so closely with certainly our group here at Yankee Stadium, the Legends team plays a big part in this as well, as support. They're on site right now, and Michael Aparo and Owen McGovern and their staff do a great job right on site, you know, to sort of pull this all together. As Randy said, you know, it was conceived in 2010, so going into our 8th year, and this has exceeded all our wildest expectations. You know, and I think, as Coach Adazio said, probably our best promoters are really the schools and institutions that have been here before. You know, we can write up all the marketing pieces we want, but there's nothing like that network of coaches, ADs, presidents, and everybody that speak about the experience that they had here at the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. And I think that's really what's spread the word. And there's no question about it when you talk to other people out there, that this has become a premier bowl. And I think the beauty of it is, when you look at New Era, and I think George up above would be very proud of saying it's become New York's college bowl game. And it's something very special. Of course, we are just so happy to have two fine college institutions participating this year. Iowa representing the Big Ten, and certainly Coach Ferentz pursuing a real milestone, you know, in really the football history when you look at it. and of course Boston College representing the ACC. And I think we all know, as Coach Adazio said, he probably coached one of the most exciting games that we've had up to this point. But I know he's going to do everything in his power to sort of change that end result this year, without a doubt. So as title sponsor, New Era just could not be more pleased, partnering up with the Yankees, the Big Ten, the ACC, to really set up a memorable event with 3 great organizations. So as I look back on my life, and most of us, as we get a little bit older, we have a tendency to do that, and I've been blessed in so many ways, but I think we would all say that life is really about special events and memories. And I can honestly say with full confidence that your student athletes, coaching staff, alumni that's going to be here, will have an experience that they will truly never, ever forget. It's amazing what the groups that I referred to earlier put together. And that week building up to the final bowl game is nothing short of amazing. They're going to experience what New York is all about. As Randy touched in earlier, you know, all the important sights and sounds and everything about New York City comes to life for all of them. And for Iowa, that many of them never been here, as I said, it's almost tough to describe. I think we probably all had those experiences that you never could sort of understand how great is this experience going to be. But everybody you talk to, even after the game, it's like the entire experience. The game is terrific, but it's part of the overall experience of what goes on. That's just simply hard to touch. It really is. It's something very, very special. And as I said, I can't say enough about Mark and his team and how they pull all these together. And it's coming from New York, growing up in the area. As Randy said, for most of us been around, and I've been lucky enough in my career to travel around the world in different areas. There's nothing like New York. In the holiday, there is simply nothing like New York. And for some of those that have been here, as Coach was here a little while ago, it's something you want to come back. You know, it was tough for me to be in Orlando and see these Christmas trees up. It was difficult for a New York kid, you know, trying to figure this out. And I said, this just doesn't seem right. And I said, but when you see the city come to life in the next few weeks, this is where you want to be with people that you're very close to and people that you love. And I said, it's one of those experiences that's just a beautiful thing. And the nice thing is that it all culminates, as we said before, in coming to an iconic sports venue. Nothing like Yankee Stadium in the world, really, when you think about it. And here, in just a few weeks, these 2 great institutions are going to be clashing on December 27th, 5:15 on national TV, ESPN. And we all know what they're going for. They want to win that New Era Pinstripe Bowl, and they want to bring home the George M. Steinbrenner Trophy. And without a doubt, it's going to be a fun opportunity to witness. So I want to say congratulations to the outstanding schools, institutions, coaching staff. And as we like to say in the sporting area, let the best team win on that particular day. We know it's going to be a great competitive game, just terrific. And I want to thank everybody that's been involved in the preparation. There's been many, as everybody has sort of cited already. And I want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday from New Era. And I think we all know we'll be on the 27th. I'm looking forward to it. All the best.
And the last speaker is really the gentleman who deserves most of the credit for pulling everything together. He has done an incredible job building this bowl, developed incredible relationships throughout college football with the ACC, the Big Ten, and everybody else. So Mark Holtzman, the Executive Director of the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, is our last speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gary Barta, Coach Ferens, Lonn, Coach Adazio. It's great to have you here. Martin Jarman, athletic director for Boston College. We're thinking about you, buddy. Last night, Martin welcomed his first child into the world at around midnight, baby Savannah. Good luck. Spend time with your family. We look forward to seeing you soon. Having a kid's a seminal moment in your life. And also, I want to thank our cherished New Era Pinstripe Bowl board members, Bob Mulcahy, Harvey Schiller. Your advice is always so cherished by me, and I thank you for participating today. What a great matchup we have once again. It seems like with the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, the stars always seem to come together in the right way. Iowa, one of the Big Ten's crown jewels, as Jim Delaney likes to describe to me, versus an East Coast powerhouse in Boston College that epitomizes the grit, integrity, and reverence to history that we in the Yankee organization also cherish. And of course, two legendary coaches, in Coach Ferens and Coach Adazio of Boston College, both of whose places in the annals of the history of great college coaches is already secure. And once again, from the bottom of our hearts, we're thrilled to have both of you participating in the game. This will be the 8th annual New Era Pinstripe Bowl. And as Randy and Lonn alluded to, almost every game has had an improbable script that's had fans sitting in their seats until the end of the game. From year one, when it snowed almost 2 feet that week, and Syracuse beat Kansas State 36-34 in a winter wonderland called Yankee Stadium. Of course, that was the famous salute game, with the Kansas State players saluting in the end zone, and then they had to play the extra point over again, and that proved to be the difference in the game. But got our bowl off at a great start, a lot of publicity. Then, of course, Coach Greg Schiano. Rutgers played here twice, and his famous win one for the E against Iowa State. You know, the great Eric LeGrand, who unfortunately was paralyzed that year in a game against Army, and that really galvanized the team, and Rutgers played one of the best games they played in years here at Yankee Stadium. Then, of course, in year 4, I like to call that game the game that really put the New Era Pinstripe Bowl on the map. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who have been such a great partner to the Yankee organization, literally going back 100 years, accepting our invite to play in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, which I believe set the groundwork for our future partners in the ACC and the Big Ten, really taking a look at us and saying, we got to be here at Yankee Stadium. Then we moved on with the Big Ten and the ACC, and boy, have we had some great games, as Lonn and Randy alluded to. Penn State and Boston College playing that thrilling overtime game in a sold-out Yankee Stadium. Then Duke and Indiana playing a high-scoring contest that came down to a controversial field goal that many experts still think was good. Lonn, do you think it was good? Lonn still thinks it was good. It was dubbed the best bowl game of the year by many of the industry pundits. And finally, last year, Northwestern and Pitt taking it down to the wire in an exciting 31-24 victory for the Wildcats. It truly seems like every game has a storyline unto itself. And who knows what this year will bring. In Iowa, we have truly one of the great powerhouses of the Big Ten. A few weeks before the bowl selection every year, I have the privilege of having dinner with Commissioner Delaney. And every year, and there's still a few games left in the year, he hints to me what schools we should focus on. And coincidentally, Jim Delaney's little wink, each year for the last 4 years, has turned out to be the university that we have the privilege of hosting. I got that famous wink this year for Iowa. Thank you, Commissioner Delaney. And lo and behold, even though there was interest in the Iowa Hawkeyes from bowls that select above us, here we are today, and Iowa's here. And we couldn't be more thrilled and honored to have you. And what a history and what a coaching tree that Coach Ferens currently sits on top of. You know, I always have to change this a little bit because Lonn does so much of the history. I have to kind of do history on the fly here a little bit. But from the legendary, let me pronounce this right, Coach Forrest Evashevsky, Is that close enough? Okay. To the great Hayden Fry, and of course, today with Coach Ferenz. And how about that Hayden Fry coaching tree with the likes of Barry Alvarez, Bill Snyder, and the Stoops brothers? I mean, what a great training ground that's been for great head coaches. Unbelievable. And then the great players, and once I'm going to take you back kind of in my history of watching college football. It all started in the 60s when I was very little with the great Alex Karras. Remember him? And then later in the 70s watching the great Chuck Long throwing those bombs into the Iowa mist. And of course the Harmon brothers from Queens. You've had some great players over the years. And this past weekend, of course, while everyone was talking about the Final Four, who was going to make it, Ohio State or Alabama, Iowa was on the breath of all the announcers, because you had that win against Ohio State, that great win, ultimately, which could have cost them a trip to the CFP semifinals. Here in Iowa City, you beat them by 30 points? Roughly, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, Coach. And that was just a tremendous win against a tremendous team. And, of course, Iowa fans traveling to bowl games are well documented. It's legendary how Iowa travels. And we look forward to continuing that tradition with the Hawkeye Nation in a few weeks. And to Iowa Athletic Director Gary Barta, I know that you're one of the most respected athletic directors in the business, and I know that you were instrumental in helping forge New Era Pinstripe Bowl Big Ten Alliance, and we're forever grateful to you. For Boston College, I really don't know where to begin, Coach. I guess I could begin when I was a 23-year-old kid working for this small startup shoe company in Massachusetts, and we're basically not doing that well. And we needed to get some traction, and I couldn't get any pro players to wear our stuff. I couldn't get any colleges to wear our stuff. So I figured I'd appeal to this Coach Bicknell, who was there a few years ago. And maybe here I'm representing a Massachusetts company. I'm a young kid and everything. And maybe he'd give us a shot to give maybe a Doug Flutie, Gerald Phelan, some of those players, a taste of our product. I was turned down about 19 times. But Randy tells me never to give up, right? And on the 20th time, he said, okay, I guess he wanted to get me out of his hair. And BC took our shoes. That company, of course, was Reebok. Later turned out to be, a very big footwear company. But if it wasn't for Boston College, I might not be standing here today. So kudos. But what a great tradition you have. Fast forward to today. When I first, everything started to come together after the end of the regular season. I was out in California, actually visiting my daughter, and I'm in California. It's about 4:30 in the morning, and the phone's ringing. And who's my first phone call? Coach Adazio. Coach Adazio on the line saying, hey, we're going to be there, right? My players already know we're going to be there. And so, I had a... I know Coach pretty well and everything, and I had to give him, the company line. We're looking at all the opportunities, but, you definitely have a good chance and everything. And lo and behold, a week later, here you are. In Coach's mind, of course, we didn't even have a decision to make, because after their heartbreaking loss to Penn State here a few years ago, you promised me you'd be back, and you promised me you'd be back with a good kicker. So are you keeping your promise?
Absolutely.
Okay. Randy and I love Coach, and he represents everything that's good about college football today. He runs a program the right way, he wins with class, and he graduates young men who are prepared in the right way for the world out there, and kudos to you. Jack Bicknell and Coach Coughlin set the standard at BC, and they could not have a more worthy flag bearer than you. Speaking of flags, how about our title sponsor, New Era? That's a pretty good segue, huh?
I like that.
Yeah. To Bill Adams, Ryan, and Jennifer, we truly have, and it's already been, Randy and Lonn have already talked about it. It's truly a partnership for the ages. I've been in this business for a while, and you're truly family, and we're privileged to have you as a partner. And what you've done for this game has just been tremendous, and together we've been able to build this into what the game is today. This bowl week, once again, we have another great lineup of events. And of course, it's important for the whole Yankee organization that we give back to the community. And one of the highlights will be when the players make a visit to the Children's Pediatric Cancer Unit, Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital, and then, of course, our youth clinics at Yankee Stadium with the local Bronx youth from the Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club and the Bronx Colts. We'll once again take the student-athletes to Radio City and to 9/11, and while the families will enjoy such events as ice skating in Central Park, the CBS Morning Show, and at the legendary Tavern on the Green. All in all, we're very excited to host another great matchup with these two universities and can't wait to get another bowl week underway in a few short weeks. Thank you.
Mark and everyone, thank you. We will now open up the floor to Pinstripe Bowl related questions. We do have 2 wireless mics on the side. If you have a question, if you can kindly raise your hand. And when you do get the mic, if you can state your name and affiliation before proceeding. For the members of our dais, we do also have 2 wireless mics, one to be shared on each side. You can answer any questions directly from your seats. First question for the members of our dais this morning. In the middle here, Greg.
How you doing? John Schwartz, Yankees Magazine. Coach Adazio, being here a couple of years ago, off the field, what was the experience that you took the most out of? And obviously, for Coach Ferentz, what are you most looking forward to from your time here?
You know, there was a lot of them, and you know, I thought really one of the great experiences we had was we went to Radio City and saw the Rockettes, and I'd never done that before, and that was a great experience for us. I know for our players, they really enjoyed the youth football clinic that went on, and that was great. And of course, we went with Mark and the staff to an unbelievable Italian restaurant. So for me, that was a personal highlight. I might not be able to quite dig in like I did a couple of years ago, but every day is something exciting.
We'll take a few more if there are any. Hillary, in second row here.
Hi, Hillary Georgie, Yankees Magazine. Coach Adazio, you had a tough loss the last time you were here. How are you feeling? How you're preparing your team, having played here before? What are you going to tell them to expect?
Well, you know, that they know they're going to expect an electric atmosphere. They know that because that's what it is here. When we came the last time, I think our guys were like, wow, when they walked down that field. This is a big-time atmosphere. And I think we have unbelievable respect for Iowa and know what an unbelievable program that is, a tough physical program. So, you know, we got to prepare for one of those kind of real black and blue physical games, and that's what it's going to be. And, you know, that experience of leaving here empty-handed that time was impactful to us. And then, of course, last year we were able to win that bowl game and what that meant. So I think all Iowa, Boston College, all the bowl teams know the value of having a chance to close the season out with a win is a great springboard.